Welcome, everyone. Thank you for showing up again for the next episode of Let's Talk. We're going to have cannabis conversations. We're going to talk about the healing properties of the plant. I'm sorry, my incense all of a sudden started just going crazy. All right. Welcome. I am Asha Sims. I am a licensed therapist, holistic wellness practitioner with the Shakti Wellness and Yoga. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to have some very engaging conversation and learning a lot of knowledge today. So if you're tapping in, tuning in, please either do a watch party or share it with someone that could benefit from gaining some of the knowledge. They may be dealing with chronic pain, terminal illnesses, and talking about different modalities to assist in the healing process and really giving some education on a lot of things I think we have been miseducated on when we talk about the use of the cannabis plant and everything. So thank you guys for being on board. This means a lot, this conversation, and very insightful. I'm going to bring on my first guest, Miss Kendra Jeffress. Hello, darling. How are you doing?
Hello, Asha.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing good today, beautiful. I'm glad to have you on the show. So I want to say so much about today's topic is so beneficial. And I want to even say before even starting out, and part of this is being a holistic wellness practitioner and a licensed clinician. I like to bring a roundabout modalities and helping. And so even for those that may be out there asking like, okay, she's a therapist. What is she talking about? Why is she bringing all this information about the cannabis plant and marijuana? And I want people to understand even what made me dwell and want to bring the knowledge about things. It was, what is this? 2016. And as a licensed clinician, I had to keep up with continuing education credits to keep my license. When I came across this continuing education course on medical marijuana and other cannabinoids, letting me know as an implementation of the benefits of this and how it can even assist us as mental health clinicians and dealing with those that have different mental health diagnoses. And one of the things they say from a study that was done, that it is known to treat those dealing, it's showing evidence, let me say that, suggested use for those with fibromyalgia, post-traumatic stress disorder, seizure disorders, irritable bowel syndrome, and Crohn's disease. This is from what the evidence has already stated, that for those who have to have scientific evidence and, understanding or the use of this. So that's why it's even more important. We're bringing Miss Kendra Jeffress on with Ladybugs Medibles. I'm excited to have this sister. I have worked with her. I send a lot of my clients to her that is dealing with chronic pain and maybe diagnosis with cancer as alternative treatments. But Kendra, can you just share them a little bit about you, Ladybug Medibles, and even your journey and why you're such an advocate for the use of medicinal marijuana and treatment?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. I enjoyed the opportunity to be able to talk about this wonderful vibrational plant. So thank you, Asha, for having interest. Thank you for the many clients that you've sent me. I appreciate you. I'm glad that you went on this journey. So
I'm a personal client too.
I'm so happy that you began on this journey to learn this plant and love it and have it love your body and do the healing things that God intended it to do. I am a cannabis activist and also a business owner. I started my business about 6 years ago, and the reason I started was because of my daughter Allie. My daughter Allie has a extremely rare condition. She is one of the only people in the United States with her disorder, and she is the only person with her classification of that disease. It deteriorates her central nervous system, so her brain's motor system, the main motor, is losing signal. She was absolutely wonderful, still is, but born with all normal activities. The disease began onsetting when she was 6, and rapidly increased when hormones set in around 11, 12. And that was when we did some DNA testing to find out exactly what was going on. Before the testing and before finding out what the disorder was, Allie was experiencing every seizure disorder known to man, along with its subcategories. And I was like, seizures have subcategories? This is
Mhm.
crazy. So we have this body that's kind of losing signal, so doing whatever it wants to, and what we call here in the United States is seizures or myoclonic activity. And this beautiful brain that is doing its best to send these signals out. We have been able to maintain and protect cognitive function, which we're not supposed to have any at this stage of disease,
Mhm.
by using the wonderful cannabis plant. We use it in many forms. Allie is a full cannabis baby, and also she is infused with hemp. I noticed how wonderful these agents were working in her body and how well they were showing effects. And the natural part of it was awesome because she didn't have a lot of side effects with it. When she was on very heavy pharmaceuticals, Allie was lethargic. She seized more sometimes because we had to balance out things in her body. Her sleep cycle is 18 to 20 hours a day. So I wasn't seeing my child.
Mhm.
Um, but we had to sedate her in a sense to keep the seizures under control. With finding cannabis, I was able to see her. She was able to be awake for me. Administering the plant in its many modalities gave her the energy and strength to fight through this disease, and it also opened her back up for me.
Mhm.
Um, my biggest thing with going to the hospitals as much as we do, sometimes the doctors only see her when she's at her worst state. And oftentimes, just this December, her disease progressed to a point where Allie stopped breathing and
Mhm.
she had to be intubated. With intubation, in this particular disease, there isn't a great turnaround because the body's already losing signals. So with something adapting to it and helping it to actually work, it'll say, hey, I don't have to do this anymore.
Mhm.
Um, Allie is at home, and she came home after 2 weeks. She began to breathe on her own once we began administering again after 5 days of being on the ventilator. And she is beautifully talking and breathing stuff to me now. But she is my reason, she is my cause to be, and she is why Ladybugs Medibles formed.
Mhm.
Um, Finding the nourishing and protective and stimulation of the immune system that hemp and cannabis was bringing to Allie, and just studying more and meeting these wonderful people in the industry and finding out what it actually can do for the body, I decided to add it to food. Why not, right? Let's
Right.
give the body some nutritional values. And what
Mhm.
I found out is that, with one of the main things that people with disorders or immunosuppressant disorders, basically, they have like cancer, diabetes, and even simple things like skin allergies. People don't make enough gamma linolic acid,
Mhm.
and that helps to benefit with supplementing supplies and supports function and growth of cells, of nerves, of muscles, and organs throughout the body.
Mhm.
Very, very important for all of us and everything. Hemp contains over 24 different nutrients in itself, and then it also contains omegas, the 3, 6, and 9 fatty acids, which have helped to support brain function, cardiovascular health, circulatory health, things all
Mhm.
around the body. So it made sense to me to incorporate in the food and have it boost our vegetables, and they're already providing nutrients to these bodies that need it.
Right.
The immune system is very important. We're all learning about that now, unfortunately, but fortunately, because of the coronavirus, how important it is to keep our defense system up and these compromising biological things that are happening around us.
Mhm.
And so this particular organism in our body protects us from the disease. Hemp and cannabis are prophylactic. They are protectants. They are
And
preventative
very
things.
briefly, Kendra, explain the difference for those who don't understand and the difference of the hemp plant and when you know they say the difference between the one full cannabis and the hemp for those who don't understand the difference between the two of them.
Okay. Hemp has been used for years more on. I'll try to do it kind of simply. Hemp has been used for years more on the industrial end. They used to use it to make ropes, to use hemp to build structures, to make concrete, things like that. It's also extremely important in regenerating and neutralizing the soil so we can have healthy foods. So when you think of hemp, I think of it more of on a nutritional value for the earth and also for your body.
Mm-hmm.
Full cannabis also offers those values, but it also offers the wonderful THC and the tetrahydrocannabinol is wonderful for the body and helps to activate all the other cannabinoids or nutrients that are in that plant. It helps with wonderful things with alleviating pain, with circulating the blood, with reducing inflammation. They are wonderful I've learned definitely within the last 2 years with hemp becoming mainstream that they work wonderfully together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so the difference is more of the for us in the states more of the legality issues of the full cannabis plant compared to hemp in use or personal choice.
I think I know that. Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
I guess the difference or what's the difference between those who are really wanting the full cannabis plant and just the hemp? Are those more concerned about the THC showing up in their system through the food and the hemp is more beneficial, or is there a difference in using a full cannabis plant or the hemp?
It's extremely beneficial, I believe, to use both. The full cannabis plant or the whole plant in either species, whether it be the full cannabis plant or hemp, they give the body an entourage effect, so everything begins to work together. I think when you're worried about drug testing or testing positive for THC, you want to stay more on the hemp end and make sure that those products, anything that's sold legally within our state, will keep you below the legal limit, of 0.03% THC.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's in the hemp family. So
Mm-hmm.
anything with that or CBD, or which is an isolate, those oils should be very safe.
Gotcha. Okay. And so you had in treating your daughter and seeing this major improvement. What was it like as we talk about we are knowing it, and before we talk with Danielle, who the natural aspect of it, but with us over here in America and dealing with the legalization, how was it dealing with the hospitals and them understanding what you're treating her with and what you've shown more results? Were they oppositional with you? And is that why you became an activist to help those that have a voice in their choice of treatment? What was that like?
Well, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, breaking into this industry or breaking into the conversations too were very, very awkward. They had to be. I believe that with Allie, when you're dealing with something that's so rare and there are no answers, we're all looking for an answer, right? And being introduced to the cannabis plant, I was actually the very first introduction for Allie was her pediatric neurologist. She said, they're studying these things over on the West Coast. Let's go study and let's see if this will work for Allie because we're running out of options. And she and I began to study maybe 6 or 7 months before Allie actually, her body started screaming for it. So
Mm-hmm.
with going into the hospitals, that was a little bit more difficult because you're bringing an illegal substance onto a hospital ground, which is extremely illegal.
Mm-hmm.
So having that conversation with the hospital board, having that conversation with all of our area hospital boards, with Duke, with UNC, Wake Forest. We've been down to South Carolina, but having the conversation honestly that this is something that maintains her was where we had to go. And once they saw it, then the allowance was granted. Unfortunately, we did have to go, ICU, crash cart, heart almost stopping
Mm-hmm.
before they saw it. But when they did see it, they gave the allowance. And for a few years, and of course, so now, it was definitely quiet as Hush said, I could just come in the bag in the hospital with my little basket, and everybody knew I was the cannabis.
Right.
She's going to save some lives. It's okay. And the doctors and the nurses would send mothers and over to me when I was in peds and say, hey, what is this new thing? My baby has a rare disease and they don't know what to do. And when you're in ICU and you're seeing your family member begin to take last breaths and they begin to struggle, you not only, reach for higher power, but what can my hands do? What can I do?
Mm-hmm.
I have to be able to do something.
And I love how in your bio, what was the passage that you wrote about the plant in your bio about
Oh,
what?
Genesis 1:29. With the earth, I've given you everything to eat. That is, it's seed and nut. So God tells us, or Creator tells us, that these are the things we should be eating. He gave us specific things that will sustain us, and so certain things that if we get into a tizzy and we need some healing, that'll heal us.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really, really cool because they grow side by side, except for hemp and cannabis. You can't grow them side by side.
Right,
But
right, right.
most of the other healing natural herbs, because you've had some really great herbalists on there. They let us know that, we can eat some things and some things are medicine. And this is
Right.
a wonderful place that we can take it and we can do all of those things.
And what's so even amazing, what people don't realize, and how it's so much that is presented to us, and we really don't understand. We take so much knowledge in. I think that's kind of what, when I thought about even the war on drugs, when they made marijuana, a criminal act, was the propaganda that was fed to us. And I think that's what stopped me from actually wanting to be a substance abuse counselor, because my philosophy and understanding of what you're calling something that is harmful is so beneficial. And then to have someone that are mixing someone that's dealing with an addiction to heroin, to what the addiction of, it was like conflicting to me, knowing some of the positive benefits of it. And another thing, in realizing the body holds on to what it needs. That's why it
Yes.
takes at least 30 days for it to get out your system. When those are using synthetic or man-made crack and cocaine, it's out your body. And I remember at one point in time having an agency, and when we had to do the drug test, it bothered me that the ones we might have known that was dealing with the crack or cocaine, 3 or 4 days it's out their system. But the body will hold on, so it's letting you know that it's still utilizing compared to coming out your system so quickly, and it's taking what it needs. And I'm going to bring Danielle on, because I love how he broke down to me how the body, and then we'll come back to you, Kendra, so folks know what you're doing in your products. Danielle.
Hi, Queen. How you doing?
I'm
Okay.
doing lovely, my brother. How you doing in a sunny Jamaica?
Oh, I'm enjoying my tropical paradise
Good,
in
good, good.
in all of its diversity.
And all this diversity. I love it. I love it. I love it. What Danielle is a dear brother that he is a cultivator of the plant and has over 300 acres that on their land, the maroon land there, that he's able to grow. And he has so much knowledge about the plant and just the spiritual aspect of it. And not as well as all the physical. But Danielle, just tell us a little bit about how beneficial the plant, and how you would say how our bodies are already set up to.
Okay. One of the things while I was listening, just to fine tune, what Kendra was saying to you about when you ask the difference between the cannabis, the hemp and the marijuana plant, right? So within their science, they call cannabis, the marijuana that we smoke, they call it cannabis sativa. That's the scientific name. And then the hemp is called cannabis sativa L, as a capital L, as a designation. So it's what you'll find is that hemp grows as a modification of the original sativa, grows in cold climates that the cannabis won't really grow good in, because it grows better in warm climates. But the hemp grows in those cold climates and gets tall and gives more fiber. So that's a biological difference. But it's almost like mangoes, you got different variations of mangoes. And there is also the indica. There's also the cannabis indica. And there's the ruderalis. These are the ones that grow wild and are crossbred, and they're not. So that first. Secondly, we must remember that 1974 it was that Harvard University did its first complete research proving that cannabis heals cancer. Richard Nixon, the then president, insisted that it not be made public from 74. So understand that had it not been for Richard Nixon and men who thought like him, who were slaves of the pharmaceutical cartel, nobody should have been dying from cancer in the United States since 1974. That's a whole heap of people like who could have been saved. Now, 1980. Now, you'd wonder now with this understanding who funded this push to criminalize cannabis? If you found out from 74, you have empirical evidence in the US from 74. So why did the DEA come into play? Our greatest discovery within the cannabis industry, has been the discovery of the endocannabinoid system. This is the second largest system of nerves and receptors in the human body. It's connected to cannabis. And it was discovered in 1988 by a DEA-funded research. See, that's serendipitous. That the DEA paid Dr. Alvin Devane to do a research to prove that cannabis was bad for the brain. In going through the brain, Dr. Devane found receptors for cannabis in the brain and started to research along that lines. And he ended up finding the receptors all over the body. CB1 receptors that are connected to the immune system. CB2 receptors that are connected to the central nervous system. Right? So, with this understanding, by 1990, it was found in every mammal. I took 2 weeks and 4 days, and I killed my friend's pit bull's prostate cancer. Everything with a spinal cord has an endocannabinoid system. Breast milk is a cannabinoid. It's called 2-AG that the mother produces. It makes the baby eat and sleep. What does weed make you do?
Sleep.
Eat and sleep.
Right. The natural instinct. Right.
So this is a hypocrisy that, especially as a Jamaican, as an indigenous, my family, the British surrendered to my ancestors in the mountains, the Cockpit Mountains of Jamaica from 1728. My family were never slaves. I have none of that trauma in my genetics. So I don't want that subservience mindset has never been with us. We're 9 generations cannabis growers and traders. We don't smuggle. We're international traders. Give us the respect. So, because we understand this reality, the endocannabinoid system and its existence makes any attempt to curtail cannabis use a violation of every human being's rights. You have lungs, they can curtail your breath intake. You have kidneys, means no one can curtail your liquid intake. You have an endocannabinoid system. It is therefore unlawful and a violation of your human rights to curtail your exocannabinoid intake. It's just logic. It's a biological reality. It's like it's like trying to charge me for an erection. Can you imagine me getting charged because I got an erection and I saw it? That's wrong.
Hey, you got a point. Biological functions, right? Which is
So because it's and because what happens is that whenever in any forum of jurisprudence and any jurisdiction that you present that reality, they get stuck. It void. You don't even need license or laws. Once that is stated, because in courts and whatever, you go into any court and say, listen, they can't go any further.
right.
But nobody goes there. Everybody tries to. We have been taught to use other arguments. While my family is like, no, this thing exists, and that's the point. Stay alone, because then argue with God. Argue with God. She put that inside us. The end of argue with. Are you gonna defy God?
Right.
Let her. She's gonna slap you over.
A hard spiritual lesson. So Danielle, tell me this, and you broke this down for those who have family members that deal with the seizures, and we had talked about how the
seizures
is the only thing that can get in between
passes through the blood-brain barrier. The blood-brain barrier. So like seizures, autism, Alzheimer's, these are all what we call neural degenerations, right? So there's a thing at the neck called the blood-brain barrier that stops anything in the blood from getting up in the brain. So even if I was to poison you in your arm, the blood-brain barrier would prevent that poison from ever getting up into the brain. It only has to stay in your lower body. Now, the only thing that passes through the blood-brain barrier are the cannabinoids from cannabis. So that means they're called sphingoloid lipids. They slip through. Autism, epilepsy, Ali's issues, all of those things. That's why they see that quick response, because it shots up through the blood-brain barrier and gets to the root of the problem. And based on the amount of cannabis you can take in, it starts to reverse the problem. Because I've seen that. I mean, I was born supposedly with asthma, but you're born in a cannabis using family. We drink ganja tea. We drank cannabis tea every morning. I mean, grandpa, no. All kinds of stuff. So that asthma don't even exist. I don't even know that. I swam. I played football, water polo, basketball, table tennis, cricket. I didn't know that I had asthma. They tell me that I had asthma. I'm like, you're really sure, right?
Right. Right.
Now the thing is, when it comes to those issues of the psychological issues now, as for the aspect of counseling and treatment, this is where it is critical, because passing through the blood-brain barrier means the people with what they would call bipolar. We see all of these things as endocannabinoid deficiency.
Right. It's causing the imbalance of the mood.
So the cannabinoids are what you call mimic, meaning that's why you have 200 or 100 and odd cannabinoids, because they can combine together and mimic the reaction that the body should get from a particular thing that is lacking. That's why it brings homeostasis. It's all about bringing homeostasis to the body. Equilibrium. It just says, what you doing here? You shouldn't be here. And it fixes. You don't have to tell cannabis what to do. My friend's granduncle is taking it for his blood pressure. And he calls me 5 o'clock in the morning and he's like, young man. So I see his phone ring and I'm like, oh, you okay, daddy? Is everything okay? He's like, yeah. I came in and this thing is working so good. I took a little bit extra, but man, it's got me up, man. Mommy's still sleeping. I worked her out. She's all knocked out. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was supposed to do that. I'm like, yes, it does that.
But that's all about circulation. And that's why many of the drugs that are used, these recreational drugs, are lowering the circulation or keeping some of the men from being able to have erections.
Look here, I can tell you, I can name elder clients who have blood pressure, who have cancer, who man's like, yo, I get better yet. My sister who has cervical cancer, then she calls me from England. She's like, Daniel, I need some sex. I know I'm better because I found I need.
So increase her desire.
Because your body only goes there when your body is okay. So this tells you that your body is okay. My cousin Nelia,
it's your sex drive is suppressed when your immune system or your mental health is low. So when your sex drive is there, that means everything is functioning. And so, And that's what the
Yo, I grew up in a Jamaica where I see grandma with a little baby at 75, and you think it's a grandchild. It's only to find out that's grandpa's last shot. That was like, yeah, connect. Because grandpa, the average man has always got a little thing, and he's in the farm and he's puffing on his cannabis. His system is up there in China, where they deal with hemp. There's a community in the mountains where the average man get his last child at 85, because their staple is eating the hemp seeds. It keeps the body up.
Right.
My cousin Nelia, she runs JamaicanGal.com. She's as a maroon, and she handles our shipping and stuff. And Nelia and I designed an oil it's called her oil. It's a feminine, erotic, sensual oil that a woman just takes, rubs on her private parts, her clitoris, her labia, and it intensifies everything.
Would that be same for the men? With men rub it on their self, or do you do it as an oral and just?
A man would take it in, but if you want to experience some magic, if a man was to put some on his penis and then that penis goes in a woman, it's a whole different feeling for her.
That's all. I hope. Okay, look, I'm stuttering. Look. Got me stuttered over here. Okay, so
Yeah.
with that being said, though, I did want to with you, Kendra, I wanted to ask with your client. Well, the difference. Okay, first let me go back to you, Danielle. You talk about the oil, and often most people are aware of the smoking in it from that aspect, but don't
right. And then there's so many kinds of oil. So like Kendra was saying, what Kendra was saying is even there's an oil when Kendra mentioned and I don't know if people really realize what Kendra said when she mentioned the omega-3, 6, and 9 that is found in the cannabis seed and any oil that you extract from the cannabis seed.
Yeah.
Now, fish oil is not supposed to be your source of omega. It's supposed to be hemp. Cannabis is supposed to be your source of omega-3, 6, and 9. Because in the hemp and in the cannabis plant, whether it's hemp or marijuana, once you take the seed in, you get omega-3, 6, and 9 in the exact proper ratio that science says is best. It's already that way in the plant. You're not supposed to be getting it from fish oil. That's not for us. So nature, Mother Nature, bad bitch.
Us.
Right, straight from the earth. Kendra,
she don't play.
Kendra, tell me a little bit about, and I know with the clients that you work with, and especially some of the clients that you deal with that have cancer, if you've utilized the oil as well, and what was the results on how it benefited some of your clients on working with the oil?
Well, many thanks and gratitude to the hours and talks and education I receive from Danielle all the time. I thank you. My cancer patients are using a Rick Simpson's oil formula. It's a heavy, dark concentrate. Looks like this. I have only had, out of the many clients, I have only had about 2% of my clients not successfully make it after the use of cannabis in their systems, only because their systems were so deteriorated that it just was time for them to go to their next, right? But I have had some very rare cancers and leukemias go into full remission after 60 to 90-day regimens. I've seen some of them turn around in 30 days. My cancer patients are having PET scans, and the PET scans are not lighting. Cancer shows as a light on the scan. They're not seeing those. I have Crohn's disease. I have a very severe case of Crohn's disease. So when I am at my worst, I definitely skip over to my oil. We're having, I know with the cancer patients, before and after chemotherapy, The oil is of great benefit. Well, cannabis, just period. No matter how they ingest it, take it, it is a great relief to them, helps them through the nausea and the non-eating that happens after chemo treatment if they have to have that. With me, with Crohn's disease, it stops the stomach spasming. It helps my system to remember that my intestines need to operate. Like, this is an organ that needs to be working. Kendra needs this. So it jumps in and it says, hey, get rhythmically, get yourself back together.
And you had more results of the cannabis than the medications that they were giving you, because you had more side effects, you would say, from the meds when you were taking the meds?
Yes. My system my system was very, very damaged when we found out exactly what was wrong with me, right? So because of the damage that I've had, my body just doesn't do well with pharmaceuticals. It doesn't absorb my absorption rate is awful. And you have to have a good absorption rate in order to take a pharmaceutical. With a plant, you don't have to have that. So it's a medicine that my body is familiar with. It knows it, right? So it's food to it. And in my pain is a hunger. So when I give it cannabis, all of that calms down. Right?
Right. Screaming. It's a
I
screaming
found, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, question.
But it's very important to have,
Okay. What are the benefits of smoking versus ingestion? Let me answer that for Antonio, because I know when our brother asked that, he's all right. No, this is what it is. When you smoke it, it goes through the lungs, and it's just air particles. When you take it in the oil form, right, it goes directly into the bloodstream. The smoking burns. You pass it back out when you smoke it. When you take it in, all of that stays in you and does its work. And the cannabinoid ratio is higher for it to do. The best you get from smoking, other than the high THC high and the pain relief, and it makes you sleep well. But in terms of real healing, is in that oil form. One of the things with the oil form is when with edibles, like Kendra does, is that goes to the liver. You see, when you take the oil, like Kendra just showed you, that oil, if you take that now, it goes straight into the bloodstream. But if you take it in the edible form, it goes to the liver. Now the liver, one of the signs is that the liver converts THC into something called delta hydroxyl 10, which is about 6 times stronger than THC. So that's why edibles must be microdose. But delta hydroxyl 10, once you eat it and it goes through the liver and gets converted from THC to delta hydroxyl 10, delta hydroxyl 10 goes storming through the body to find stuff to correct. It's just like a mad.
It goes to where it needs to be healed.
It's just like, remember, this is it delta. The liver makes THC gets 5 to 6 times more potent. That's why edibles knock everybody out. But that delta hydroxyl 10 that knocks you out is supercharged THC processed through the liver. That now goes around with 2 swords, just cutting down stuff viciously.
Anybody want to answer that one?
Yeah, man. Nutrition. All right. Recovery and nutrition. The fact that cannabinoid, the endocannabinoid system, brings homeostasis to the body, which is physiological balance. So if you have been injured, what it means is that taking cannabinoids would mean that your body would regulate itself and start the areas where you're weak, where you're deficient, where that needs the correction. It does that. You don't have to inform it. So that's where it benefits for the recovery of athletes. Because it heals the muscles. Bone, even when it comes to bone damage, for example, research is there, right, Kendra, to show that the person who has bone damage and takes cannabinoids, that spot where the bone damage becomes super firm, it's been observed, as opposed to someone with a similar damage who does not take cannabis. This is magic. in Jamaica the Britons just released a 50-year research in Jamaica. This is what they didn't want anyone to know. They took 50 years and studied 50 women who smoked cannabis who were pregnant and 50 who didn't smoke. And they studied the children.
I saw that. And the children came more advanced. They have,
The children whose mother smoked cannabis based on the endocannabinoid system in the mother and the child and the G8-2 that is in the breast milk. Those children all, when they study them after 50 years, they're all now presently holders of tertiary degrees or super high paying jobs, very intelligent. Their history shows that they hardly got sick. They were all super athletes. Some swam, water polo, whatever field they chose to go into, they all excelled. They were all focused, healthy children. The ones whose mothers didn't smoke, they got all kinds of stuff. Measles, mum, this, that. Many of them ended up as delinquents, didn't achieve their potential. It's there.
Right.
So it's even beneficial for pregnant mothers. The evidence is there that even a pregnant mother should have this thing inside of it.
That's big. That's interesting, though.
Yeah.
How that helps.
And I recommend eating it, definitely using it for its nutritional value, especially athletes or anyone people that do very high energetic things all day, or just for your body, right? But you need that extra boost sometimes, and cannabis, the plant will give you that boost naturally. It will notice where there is a lag and give you that boost to go. I enjoy infusing the foods because then you have those high energy that with the candy, right?
Okay. You say high energy? It gives you high energy?
At the cellular level.
Because I know when I had those fajitas at your house, Kendra, I could not go anywhere.
But after that,
energy, because I couldn't walk. I was stuck on the couch from the shrimp fajitas. So at Kendra's house, everything is infused: mustard, ketchup.
But after that, come on, Asha. After that, when you got up and you went about your business, you were up there. Everything was sharp.
It was up there, all right. So,
but you know what, Asha? I tell you all the time, you need.
Go ahead.
Well, cannabis does. I love that it does for you what you need. You needed to rest, so it shuts you down to rest. Sometimes I need a lot of energy, so it gives me need.
Yes, what
does it say? Juicing herb. Yes, I think juicing herb and adding oil to the smoothie, I think works the best. Juicing the herb itself is going to produce all of the natural oils are going to come out of that. If you're able to do it with the bud, then the natural oils will come out of that as it goes into the smoothie and kind of combines over there. I wanted to go back to the oils very quickly. Be very, very careful with the oils that you are taking. Okay, they are especially if it's a CBD only oil. Many of the oils are highly fractionated during process, so at the end of the day, you're not receiving a lot of the nutritional value or the plant itself in these oils. So definitely check the percentages and ask questions. Where were these flowers grown? Do you know who processes it? What is the binding material used? You want to know these things because that's also going to let you know how the uptake or how your body's going to accept this oil when it comes. Because remember, you're not able to go get the plant like you can go get a tomato and pop it in your mouth. So you just get all the nutritional value. When it goes into an oil like this and it's brought down and it's fractionated in there, it contains other things. Okay? And hopefully the maker has made those. Hopefully the maker or the procurer has made those things heavily acceptable to your body, like coconut oil. Coconut oil is a wonderful carrier and it definitely automatically accepts with the body. So anything in cannabis and coconut oil is going to have a very quick uptake, a very quick release in the body.
Okay. This is a good one. Because we're finding this, but I always say I don't feel like I hate that they made ADHD a diagnosis and they try to conform everybody to this way of thinking instead of realizing it's just a different way of thinking, but it's obviously something with the processing skills. So how could the impact, what is the impact? Can it make a person with ADHD more scattered? But I guess it does what it needs to do to the person.
All right. Like at prep school, I was going to prep school, high school. This is Jamaica. The kids who smoke weed would be the most focused kids in the class. You see, the teachers are just learning now that the boys who she thought were the quiet ones were the high ones.
Yeah.
It wasn't them, huh?
Yeah.
You ain't got no time to be chatting.
Yeah,
You're high. You don't even want to talk. You're just sitting in the class and you're listening and taking stuff in.
What about retaining the information?
Exactly.
If it says the
I've
kids
had a couple of ADHD.
Retention is up. I can tell the teacher what she said on which day, what time of the day, which month.
So it does not impact your memory system, as that's one of the things they say, and what
it facilitates it. The existence of the endocannabinoid system facilitates it. We have been lied to. To understand how we have been lied to is to understand that they have known about the system for all these years and have not told you. So no, there's nothing to fear. Mother Nature has never made a mistake with us.
And what were you saying, Kendra?
It's a neuroprotectant. It's a neurostimulant. So I mean, we know that, you know. So it can't possibly take away. If it's a giver, it can't take.
Oh, one of the things that we need to do now. This is what would still all arguments that it's a tool to be used. PubMeds. Now, PubMeds is where medical practitioners and doctors and researchers have to post their research for international peer review. Now, the largest amount of research on PubMeds is on cannabis. You can name any sickness. On my website, I had two libraries, A to Z. Name your sickness from A to Z, and we can pull up the cannabis research from PubMeds on your sickness, proving how cannabis fixes that. 27,000 and counting daily. 27,000 research means that from 1980 till now, it's been like 3 research released every day. Now, at $1 million of research, do you think they would have gone to 27,000 if it wasn't fundamentally going somewhere?
Right.
So you don't even have to argue with people. Like anybody comes to me and tell me whatever illness they have, I go find the research on it and say, here is why. I run the Cannabis Cancer Center. I've been doing this 10 years, healing cancer. My first patient was my uncle, given 48 hours to live from liver cancer. You understand me? And it is just a protocol. Whatever illness you have, fibromyalgia, let me go bring you the research that's already been done and on PubMeds as to how cannabis deals with multiple sclerosis. Jai, the information is there, my brother.
Yeah.
Like I said, I go to PubMed and I type it up, and I can pull you like probably a couple hundred research on cannabis, cannabinoids, and multiple sclerosis, as that is also a neurodegenerative. You understand? It's the same thing with autoimmune, lupus. All these autoimmune diseases will not be a problem if people turn to cannabis.
Right. Y'all, Kendra, do you have any particular books that you will give as a reference about the endocannabinoid system or anything? Are there any books that you recommend?
The answer is yes.
Or you can get it later. Post in the comments and in the title,
in the link.
Yeah, when they come back.
No, right, and tell them anyone just go on any search engine and type up endocannabinoid system, and you're going to be scared at the amount of information that unfolds in front of you. To know that in the Medical Association of the United States, there's an endocannabinoid association of medical doctors, and it's been in existence from 1980, 87 or 89. The doctors have known. You're just finding out. The doctors have known and have purposely kept it from you.
Hoodwink. Kendra, I'm gonna start with you. We're winding down. They want to know about you, your top product, and what do you recommend. So just tell them a little bit. I know you have your display of some of your products. So do you mind showing them and giving them a little bit about what you're doing and what's coming down the line that you're going to be selling?
Yeah. Yeah, cool beans. I'm gonna turn the camera around so I can show you the stuff real quick. Yeah, that'd be good. You got the oil? Okay. So yes, a couple of lab tested products coming out this year. Definitely all of Ladybug's hemp foods have been tested, and I have the analytical labs on those, so they are safe products by the Department of Ag in North Carolina. So definitely order some food. But let me show you some things that we have coming out this year. Well, I was gonna flip the camera. I can't figure it out. Sorry. Okay, so I'll just show you this way. There is the highly concentrated. See, it's very, very concentrated. Rick Simpson's oil. This is good for everything, definitely cancer related. So we do have medicine for even those with precancerous cells, so we can hit them early. You want to get some of this, okay?
Hey, real quickly,
we have
that
it
oil,
in the
Kendra, the oil. If someone had cervical cancer, how would they ingest it orally, or
Yeah.
would they insert it, or both? Either.
Ingest.
well,
Ingest is best because it
I've
goes through and finds whatever else also.
ingest
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
definitely, and then too, we can always do it. No, that's fine. I think ingestion is. I agree with Danielle, and then also, I make suppositories for people with
And you make
cervical
suppositories.
cancers and anything that's doing in that colon area, things like that, so that you can hit it both ways. Sometimes you need to go oral and the other way, so that you're hitting the system in all the ways that it needs the protection.
Okay.
And then, so yeah, we have, then we have everybody's favorite way of taking it. We have gummies. So packs of gummies here.
The green gummies are good.
I've made this with, thank you, Asha.
It made everybody sleepy.
Nice and calming and the friendly little gummy.
The boys loved it. And let folks know the hemp gummy are they okay for the kids. We are not. It's the hemp gummies.
Yes, the hemp gummies are definitely okay for the children. Definitely kind of calm their anxieties down. They keep them nice and calm. They sleep well, don't they, Asha?
Yes, very well. And I think that is another option for those that are dealing with ADHD. I really think the gummies or that form really help to lower the energy level down, that they're not as active or hyper. Up, you bounced out, Kendra. Okay. All right. What you got next? Can't hear you. Can you hear us? Okay. You're blocking, you're going in and out. Okay. I see you. You can't hear? Oh no. Oh, your high energy vibrational products and shut things down. Okay, you pause for a minute. Danielle, can you hear me? And then he left. See? Okay, I can hear you. Yes. Can you hear me? See, now if somebody was tuning in, they'd be like, are they high? Can you hear me?
Asha.
I hear you.
I have
You
nothing.
can talk. I'm gonna say finish. Right.
Shit.
Oh, they're leaving me. Okay. Well, hopefully they'll be able to come back on. Hopefully y'all are getting some great insight. My two resource people, obviously the high vibrational herb is shutting them down, or we put too much information out about the healing modalities of it. But I will put in this link on how to reach out to Kendra. I think it's www.Ladybugs Medibles, but you can find her on Facebook as Kendra Jeffress. And you can reach out, and then you can also find Danielle on Facebook at Danielle Bourgeois. And I think I have his information, but I will put his links in the group as well if you guys want to reach out for them, because Danielle does have a facility there for people to go and visit for a period of time and get the whole full plant treatment. So, of course, a Shakti Wellness, that is my goals eventually as I speak this, that there is a wellness facility in Jamaica that we are offering these services. Kendra, you back? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Finish your products, please, ma'am, before we close up out of here. What you got, and
Okay.
what's the best way to contact you?
The best way to contact me is by calling 704-668-6033. You can go in through the Facebook app under Ladybugs Medibles and enter. There are time slots there or a schedule where you can schedule a cannabis consultation. I'll be happy to kind of go over what may be best for your body.
Say that number one more time.
It's 704-668-6033.
Okay, and go ahead with your product.
Okay. So with my wonderful teachers, I've learned how to kind of put this in a bunch of different products. I also have an emulsion, and this is a water-based cannabis product. Very, very good. You guys know that we are a very high percentage of water. We spoke earlier about uptake and how quickly the body receives things. So this actually works a lot faster than a lot of the oils on the market because of the water itself. We also have under Sacred Flowers, a company that I am partnering with. Sacred Flowers, we have cannabis oil, a 1,500 milligram spectrum, full spectrum. We also have a skin toner. And then also, let's see what else we have too. And a salve. And hold on, let's just see. The salve is very pretty. It's green.
Ah, and that's good for skin, or is that the one for pain or just skin repair?
This is for pain. It can definitely anything that the skin is one of the largest organs. So any cannabis anywhere on it is going to do skin repair. So that's absolutely awesome. And then, but definitely for pain, you can put it on focus points and help. It'll absorb into the skin tissue and go through the bloodstream there.
Okay.
And then also bath bombs.
Oh, pretty. Oh, popcorn. Tell them about the popcorn.
I'm sorry. We have popcorn. I have Jolly Ranchers. I have banana bread. I am a baker, so I'm constantly always baking everything from scratch so that we get that full bioactive type of metabolites the body needs, along with the hemp and the cannabis. So.
All right. Well, thank you, my love. I appreciate you. I'm sure this has been very informative for people. So hopefully you guys reach out for Kendra for any type of. Kendra, are you able to ship food? Have you figured out a way if people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're shipping all over the U.S. So yes.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, you guys please put Ladybug Medibles into your part of your healing modality. She does meal preps as well. She didn't really say that. So along with the things, she does so many things within it. But anyway, and how she can help you, assist you with that, try it. And as I'll be moving into my new office space, and I will have some of her products there, as well as I like to, especially for my clients that deal with insomnia, having issues with chronic pain, anxiety, that they can have access to the hemp oil to help deal with some of those symptoms as well. Depression, it's also good for depression as well, right?
Yeah, it's awesome for depression. It's awesome for, you said, anxiety, inflammation, for reducing stress, for sleep. So definitely, if they have any type of some abnormal things going on, or just feel a little off, your system may be asking for this actual cannabinoid, and it'll be good for you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, my dear. And maybe we see many of y'all. We're planning on doing a retreat in Jamaica when we come off this quarantine, so we can get to some sun and get some knowledge and go to the islands of Jamaica and have a whole cultural experience with Danielle. So I thank you all for being a part of things. Namaste. Blessings.
Thank you.